Hey, what's up, bro? Hope you're having an awesome day because today we're talking about something that's been getting a ton of attention in the Nintendo world. Yeah, I'm talking about the latest update for Donkey Kong Bananza, version 2.0.2. Now, before you think this is just another small patch that nobody really cares about, let me tell you, it might look tiny on paper, but it actually matters more than most people think. And if you've been playing Bananza regularly, you'll definitely want to know what this one's fixing and how it changes your experience, even if it's subtle. So let's just get into it and talk through everything that's been going on with this update, the background behind it, and how it connects to the recent wave of content that Nintendo's been pushing for our favorite banana-loving ape. All right, so first off, let's talk about the most obvious part, version 2.0.2 itself. On the surface, this update looks super light. I mean, if you just read the patch notes, it almost feels like nothing big is happening. Fixed an issue with Pauline's voice not playing correctly when acquiring fossils, and general improvements to enhance the gameplay experience. That's literally it. You'd probably scroll past it and move on. But that small line about Pauline's voice? Yeah, that's been annoying players for weeks. If you've been collecting fossils and you suddenly notice the game going quiet when it's supposed to play a voice clip, it kind of kills the vibe. It's one of those small things that don't break the game, that they break the flow. And Nintendo knows how much those little details matter. So in 2.2, they've cleaned that up, made sure Pauline's voice triggers correctly every time, and restored that polish Bananza is known for. What's interesting is that this isn't an isolated fix. It's actually connected to a chain of updates that started with the big 2.0 release not too long ago. That update, in case you missed it, was a massive one because it introduced the DK Island and Emerald Rush DLC. That was the update that expanded the game with new stages, collectibles, and challenges. And of course, with big content drops like that, small bugs always sneak in. 2.0.1 was Nintendo's quick patch to handle some performance tweaks, but even that one didn't catch everything. That's where 2.0.2 steps in. It's like the cleanup crew, fixing the little details that slip through the cracks. So yeah, while this update doesn't add new levels or items, it's kind of like Nintendo saying, we're not done perfecting this yet. Now, I've got to say, one thing that's been really cool about Donkey Kong Bananza is how much love it's getting post-launch. Back when it first dropped, a lot of people weren't sure how long Nintendo would support it. You know how it is. Some games get a couple patches, and then that's it. But Bananza has been getting consistent attention. That's a good sign. This is one of those games that has such a unique mix of adventure, puzzle solving, and that classic Donkey Kong energy that people just keep coming back. And seeing Nintendo keep polishing it, even months after release, shows they actually care about the experience long term. Another thing worth mentioning is how smooth the update process has become on the Switch too. You just highlight the game, hit that plus button, go to software update, and boom, you're done. No waiting forever, no weird file corruption issues like some older titles had. It's straightforward, and that's good because players are way more likely to keep their games current if the process is painless. So if you're watching this and haven't updated yet, definitely go ahead and do that. It's not going to break anything, it doesn't mess with your save data, and honestly, it'll probably make the game feel slightly smoother even beyond that voice bug. Now let's talk a bit about the general improvements part, because that's always such a vague phrase. And, right? Developers love to throw that in patch notes, and it makes everyone wonder, okay, but what did you actually improve? In this case, people in the community have been saying that the update seems to slightly improve the loading times when entering new areas or switching between stages. Some users on Reddit and a couple on the Nintendo forums mention that the transition screens feel just a little faster and smoother. It's not something Nintendo explicitly said, but that kind of optimization often gets bundled in under the stability and performance section. So it's possible that 2.0.2 isn't just about the Pauline voice bug. It's also about tightening up how the game runs overall. It's those subtle differences that keep Donkey Kong Bananza feeling fresh. You probably noticed how well the game balances nostalgia with modern mechanics. It's got that classic Donkey Kong feel, colorful, vibrant, and just chaotic enough to keep things fun. But it's also packed with smoother animations, dynamic environments, and really clever level designs. So when an update like this improves even small things, it kind of refreshes the experience. It's like you pick it up again after a few weeks and realize everything feels a bit snappier. And can we talk about Pauline for a second? She's become such an interesting character lately. Back in the early Mario days, she was just that damsel in distress from the original Donkey Kong arcade game. But Nintendo's been giving her more personality and importance, especially since her big comeback in Super Mario Odyssey. In Bananza, her inclusion is more than just a cameo. She's part of the lore now, connected to some of the collectible systems and voice interactions that give the game flavor. That's why it's kind of funny that this small update focused on her, because it shows how even side elements get attention when something feels off. Pauline's voice not triggering properly might not sound like a big deal, but it breaks immersion. And when you're building this fun, animated world full of sound and energy, even a missing voice line can feel like static on a good song. So yeah, it makes sense they patched it as fast as they did. Another thing worth pointing out is how much feedback Nintendo has been taking from players with these updates. You can tell they've been paying attention to reports because this specific bug was one of the most mentioned ones after the DLC release. A bunch of people posted clips on social media showing the bug happening and tagging Nintendo, and within weeks, bam, update released. That kind of turnaround time shows a level of responsiveness that's actually refreshing to see from a big developer. It's like they're saying, we see you, we hear you, and we're fixing it. That kind of developer-player relationship keeps the community active. Now, even though this update isn't flashy, it's probably the calm before the next wave. Usually when Nintendo rolls out these small patches after a major content drop, it means they're stabilizing the foundation for the next edition. There's been a lot of quiet talk online about potential extra challenges or bonus collectibles coming later this year. Nothing confirmed yet, but the idea that they're optimizing code and tightening systems now kind of hints that they're preparing the game for something else down the road. So while this one's technically a maintenance patch, it might actually be setting the stage for something bigger. And while we're talking updates, I think it's important to appreciate how far Donkey Kong as a franchise has come. I mean, go back a couple decades. This character started out throwing barrels at Mario. Now we've got full adventure titles, incredible world building, musical performances, and even story arcs that connect across games. Bonanza really shows that evolution because it feels like the developers took everything people loved about the old Donkey Kong Country games and blended it with a more cinematic, world-driven style. So when updates come out that keep refining the experience, it's like we're watching this modern version of a classic icon being treated with the care it deserves. Speaking of the technical side, a few players have said they noticed smoother camera control since installing the patch. That might just be placebo or the result of the stability tweaks. But smoother input responsiveness is definitely something people have been reporting. Especially in the more platform-heavy sections, the camera feels less jittery when swinging between vines or jumping through fast-paced levels. That's the kind of subtle polish update that never gets mentioned, but you totally feel when you're playing. And I love that Nintendo doesn't try to oversell it. They just quietly make things better. Let's be real for a second. If you've been with Bonanza since launch, you've probably seen the difference between how it ran originally and how it feels now. The 1.x versions were fun, but a little rough around the edges, especially with frame rate dips in busy jungle zones or underwater stages. Since version 2.0, though, those drops have become almost non-existent. The lighting feels cleaner, shadows pop more naturally, and transitions between sections feel near instant. It's honestly crazy how much a few lines of patch code can change the feel of a game you've already spent dozens of hours in. One thing I'd really love to see them improve next, and maybe this update hints at it, is the sound balancing across environments. Donkey Kong Bananza has one of the best soundtracks in any DK game to date. There's this mix of tribal beats, orchestral sweeps, and modern effects that really make it come alive.